Hello and welcome. This is Japan. And last year, or I was going to say last year, but it's only been a couple months ago. It feels like last year. For WrestleMania, we went over every single match and talked about the rivalry, talked about everything. And I figured for SummerSlam, because it's 2 nights, it's such a special thing that I kind of wanted to do the same thing. We have so many matches here, but actually, surprisingly, I think a little bit better than WrestleMania. These have a lot more build-up, and these feel a lot. I don't even know what to say. Like necessarily like more special. Is that even like a thing? Like is that really where I'm saying? Let me move myself to the other side. I just realized I'm covering the better part of everything. And this match I wanted to start with because I think honestly most people know this is gonna be probably the best match. I mean, obviously Io Sky and Rhea Ripley just had an absolute like S tier, 5 star, whatever you want to call it. It was absolutely atrocious that it didn't get 5 stars. Like I don't know the system, and I don't really know Dave Meltzer, and I really don't care. But like, there's sometimes when you see something like that, and you just have to talk about it because it's just like, really, this is not 5 stars. I saw the other matches that you gave over 5 stars in AEW, and they were just as entertaining and just as good as this. So that is insane. But as we go back to this rivalry, you had Naomi in it, and I think in between of like their chemistry, I think hopefully all clicks. Obviously, you can always have those issues, but this rivalry going into it wasn't really like a much of a like a story build. It was just kind of like it makes sense. This match literally was going to happen no matter what because Rhea Ripley wanted to beat Io Sky and was, I guess, like the number one contender. Lost that match only by cash in. Kind of gives you a valid excuse to have another one of these matches. Now, after this, I don't really know what you do with any of these three. It's kind of the unfortunate part of this match because it's so good. I don't feel like you could actually even run it back. I mean, obviously, the winner faces Stephanie Vicour at Clash at Paris, but the other two, I just don't know what you would even do with at the in between that. I really do feel like the best bet, at least if according to what I feel like on the predictions, is that Naomi will win, so Rhea and Io will be off, but maybe they should try to do some tag team stuff because they would be absolutely nasty as a tag team, and even if it's short lived, that's gonna be a fun tag team to see. So I don't know. I don't really know if that's in the cards. I feel like the women's main event scene is pretty stacked, like it always is, and with NXT possibly getting some call-ups after SummerSlam, it's gonna be even worse because everybody's gonna be pushed around, and I don't know. I'm excited. I like having that. It's not always the craziest. With the draft and stuff. Not all the crazy stuff happens right away, but we've seen how Lyra Valkyrie has definitely changed the whole women's landscape here. But getting back to this match, this is gonna be amazing. I can't imagine this be anything less than like an S tier match, and it's just been really nice. I think the only gripe I would have on the build up here is that Naomi's kind of been not really like really promoting against them and just being kind of more of an ass like Io Sky, and I just like not like even in the funny way, just kind of in the problematic way. I feel like they need to get rid of that. Try to reset. We got one more Raw before this happens. Just have her go out there and be dominant, and obviously she's gonna pull off this win. I mean, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky need no extra time on that mic. They've already cooked each other. They have that rivalry. Like this is like really one of those crazy rivalries where the wrestling just speaks out for everything else. Like obviously they have the story between Rhea and Io of Rhea never beating Io, so that automatically already puts that as like a hot topic type thing. But they're mainly friends, and it's still like this is a great rivalry, and everybody is absolutely on board, even though they're just friends, and it's still crazy. But I think overall, when we look at this is going to be the match that we call back to being the best. Honestly, like I said earlier, like most of these matches in general on the SummerSlam card, all have good storylines and at least like a narrative thread that it isn't completely out of the blue. I mean, which is honestly pretty good for WWE that they could fill 2 nights here in SummerSlam and it doesn't feel too forced. Like I'm really not thinking of a match that really just is like a blatant one. I do feel like the snubs definitely would be the thing to look at with no Julia and no Raw tag team titles. I mean, If you could get the SmackDown titles and make them on this, I think they could have definitely done something with the Raw titles, knowing that they had a pretty nice build up here. Same thing with Julia. Julia's been a champion for a while, and even that rematch with Selena Vega shouldn't just take place on the freaking SmackDown before that, because you know it's not going to be anything. It's going to be Julia just absolutely stomping her out just so she can solidify herself as champion. But like I said, go back to this match. This is going to be the best match, best so far, I would say, um, build of like at least with like hype and excitement. Like I said, they still have not really done much to each other, but this has it's probably the most thrown together one if you really want to say. Like it doesn't have anything to be like, oh well, this is a storyline of why they hate each other. It's just the other two, Io and Rhea going against each other, and then with Naomi cashing in, that kind of changed stuff. So, yeah. But watch out for the rest of these SummerSlam videos. I'm literally going to cover every match. We're going to have a prediction video. We're going to have tons of videos this week, and hopefully do it up like we did for WrestleMania. So if you guys enjoy that stuff, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.